Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Practice with Julia. Today we are going to learn English in a very practical way, with phrases you can use in real life, at home, at work, in shops, on the phone, and in everyday conversations. I will say a useful phrase, I will explain it in simple words, and then we will practice it together slowly, clearly, and naturally so you can remember it and use it with confidence. Take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let's begin. Let's start with phrases you can use to greet people and sound warm. Not too formal, not too casual, just natural. The first phrase is, "How's it going?" This means, "How are you?" in a friendly way. You can say it to a friend, a classmate, or someone you see often. Practice with me. "How's it going?" Now answer. "It's going well, thanks." Again. "It's going well, thanks." Good. Another phrase is, "How have you been?" This is for someone you have not seen for some time, maybe a week, a month, or longer. Practice. "How have you been?" Answer. "I've been good." Or, "I've been busy." Try again. "I've been busy lately." Good. Another phrase is, "It's nice to see you." Simple, polite, and warm. Practice. "It's nice to see you." Now make it a little longer. "It's nice to see you again." Great. Now, a very common phrase is, "What have you been up to?" This means, "What have you been doing recently?" Practice slowly. "What have you been up to?" Answer. "Not much, just work and home." Again, "Not much, just work and home." Perfect. Another useful phrase is, "Long time no see." People say this when they meet someone after a long time. Practice, "Long time no see." Now add a friendly follow-up. "Long time no see. How are you?" Nice. Now, let's practice short, polite replies, because greetings are not only questions. You also need answers. The phrase, "I'm doing well," is a clean and polite answer. Practice, "I'm doing well." Now add warmth. "I'm doing well. Thanks for asking." Great. Another answer is, "I'm hanging in there." This means you are okay, but life is a little hard. Maybe you are tired or busy. Practice, "I'm hanging in there." Now, a softer version, "I'm hanging in there." How about you? Good. Another phrase is, "I can't complain." It means things are okay, not perfect, but okay. Practice, "I can't complain." Now say it naturally. "I can't complain. How about you?" Excellent. Another phrase is, "I've been better." This means you're not feeling great. Practice, "I've been better." Now add a small explanation. "I've been better. I'm a bit tired today." Good. Now we move to everyday conversation starters, phrases that help you begin talking without feeling nervous. The first one is, "By the way." We use this to change the topic or add new information. Practice, "By the way." Now complete the sentence, "By the way, did you hear the news?" Again, "By the way, I wanted to ask you something." Great. Another phrase is, "Speaking of that." We use this when something reminds us of another topic. Practice. "Speaking of that." Now try, "Speaking of that, how is your new job?" Good. Another phrase is, "That reminds me." Similar meaning. Practice, "That reminds me." Now complete. That reminds me, I need to call my friend. Perfect. Let's practice polite ways to ask for repetition because in real life, you will not understand everything, and that is normal. The phrase, sorry, could you say that again? Is very helpful. Practice. Sorry, could you say that again? Now slower. Sorry, could you say that again? Great. Another phrase is, could you repeat that please? Practice. Could you repeat that please? Another phrase is, I didn't catch that, meaning you did not hear it clearly. Practice. I didn't catch that. Now add, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it? Good. Another phrase is, what do you mean? This asks for clarification. Practice. What do you mean? Now soften it. Sorry. What do you mean? Great. Now let's learn phrases for checking understanding. These are very important in conversation, especially at work or in class. The phrase, do you mean, helps you confirm. Practice. Do you mean? Example. Do you mean tomorrow or today? Again, do you mean tomorrow or today? Great. Another phrase is, so you're saying. We use it to summarize what the other person said. Practice. So you're saying. Example. So you're saying we should leave early. Nice. Another phrase is, let me make sure I understand. Practice. Let me make sure I understand. Now complete. Let me make sure I understand. You want me to call them. Great. Another phrase is, in other words. It means you will explain again in simpler words. Practice. In other words. Example. In other words, we need more time. Perfect. Now we'll practice phrases for daily life at home. These are simple, but they help you speak naturally. The phrase, I'm just getting ready, means you are preparing. Maybe to go out, practice, I'm just getting ready. Another phrase is, I'm running late, meaning you are late. Practice, I'm running late. Now add, I'm running late, I'll be there soon. Great. Another phrase is, I'll be right back. Practice, I'll be right back. Another phrase is, can you give me a hand? Meaning, can you help me? Practice, can you give me a hand? Now example, can you give me a hand? With this bag. Good. Another phrase is, it's up to you, meaning you can decide. Practice, it's up to you. Now use it. We can eat now or later, it's up to you. Great. Now, let's move to phrases for making plans. This is daily life English, very useful. The phrase, are you free today? Practice. Are you free today? Now add time. Are you free this evening? Good. Another phrase is, do you want to hang out? Casual, friendly, practice. Do you want to hang out? Another phrase is, what time works for you? Very useful and polite. Practice. What time works for you? Now example. What time works for you? Around 5 or 6? Great. Another phrase is, let's meet up. Practice. Let's meet up. Another phrase is, I'll let you know, meaning you will decide later and tell them. Practice, I'll let you know. Example, I'm not sure yet. I'll let you know. Good. Another phrase is, that works for me, meaning you agree with the plan. Practice. That works for me. Now add, yes, 7 p.m. works for me. Perfect. Now we will practice polite ways to say no, because you cannot say yes to everything, and you still want to sound kind. The phrase, I'd love to, but I can't, is very natural. Practice, I'd love to, but I can't. Now add a reason. I'd love to, but I can't. I have work. Great. Another phrase is, maybe next time. Practice, maybe next time. Another phrase is, I'm not available. More formal, practice, I'm not available. Another phrase is, I have to pass, means no, but friendly. Practice, I have to pass. Now soften it. I have to pass, but thank you for asking. Good. Now let's practice phrases for asking for help in public places, like a shop, a street, or a building. The phrase, excuse me, do you have a minute, is polite. Practice, excuse me, do you have a minute? Another phrase is, could you help me please? Practice, could you help me please? Another phrase is, where can I find? Very useful in stores. Practice, where can I find? Now example, where can I find the toothpaste? Again, where can I find the toothpaste? Great. Another phrase is, how much is this? Practice, how much is this? Another phrase is, do you take cards? Practice, do you take cards? Another phrase is, can I get a receipt? Practice, can I get a receipt? Great. Now a short pronunciation and speaking exercise. We will do slow repetition, but also natural rhythm. Listen first, then repeat. How's it going? How have you been? Nice to see you. What have you been up to? Long time no see. I'm doing well. I'm hanging in there. I can't complain. Sorry, could you say that again? I didn't catch that. Let me make sure I understand. In other words, I'm running late. I'll be right back. It's up to you. What time works for you? That works for me. I'd love to, but I can't. Maybe next time. Where can I find? Great. Now we do a simple practice conversation. I will speak as Julia, and you will answer out loud. Ready? Julia says, hey, how's it going? You answer, it's going well, thanks. Julia says, long time no see. What have you been up to? You answer, not much, just work and home. Julia says, by the way, are you free this evening? You answer, maybe, I'll let you know. Julia says, what time works for you? You answer, 7 p.m. works for me. Julia says, perfect, let's meet up. Great. Now a second version. Julia says, excuse me, could you help me please? You answer, sure. What do you need? Julia says, where can I find the toothpaste? You answer, it's in aisle 3. Julia says, thank you. You answer, you're welcome. Excellent. Before we continue, I want you to remember something important. You do not need to memorize everything in one day. You will learn faster if you repeat small sets of phrases again and again. Use them in your daily life. Even if you are alone, talk to yourself while cooking, while walking, while getting ready. Use short sentences and speak slowly. Then, as you feel comfortable, you can speak faster and more naturally. step by step. Now we will continue with more useful phrases, and we will keep practicing the same way: phrase, meaning, examples, and speaking practice. If you are ready, take a calm breath and keep going with me. Let's continue. And now we will focus on phrases you can use in daily conversations to sound clear, polite, and natural, especially when you need to ask questions, give short answers, and keep the conversation flowing. Remember, you do not need to rush, speak slowly, and let the phrases feel comfortable in your mouth. A very useful phrase is, "What do you think?" You use this to ask someone's opinion. Practice, "What do you think?" Now make it longer. "What do you think about this idea?" Good. Another phrase is, "How do you feel about it?" This is a little more personal. It asks about feelings. Practice, "How do you feel about it?" Now answer, "I feel good about it." Again, "I feel good about it." Great. Another phrase is, "That sounds good." You use this when you agree or like a plan. Practice, "That sounds good." Now add energy. "That sounds really good." Nice. Another phrase is, "That makes sense." This means you understand and agree. Practice, "That makes sense." Now answer with it. Julia says, "We should leave early to avoid traffic." You say, "That makes sense." Good. Now let's learn phrases for showing interest, because in English, people like it when you react, even with small words. The phrase "really" is simple and common. Practice, "Really?" Now make it warmer. "Oh, really?" Another phrase is "no way." This shows surprise. Practice, "No way." Another phrase is "That's interesting." This is polite and neutral. Practice, "That's interesting." Another phrase is "Tell me more." This invites the other person to continue. Practice slowly. "Tell me more." Great. Another phrase is "How come?" This means why, but in a casual way. Practice, "How come?" Example, "How come you're so busy today?" Nice. Now, we practice phrases for expressing uncertainty because sometimes you're not sure, and that is normal. The phrase "I'm not sure." Practice, "I'm not sure." Now add a soft follow-up. "I'm not sure. Let me check." Great. Another phrase is "It depends." This means the answer changes based on the situation. Practice, "It depends." Example, "It depends. What time do you want to go?" Good. Another phrase is maybe. Practice, "Maybe." Now make it more natural. "Maybe I think so." Great. Another phrase is "I guess so." This means probably yes, but not 100% sure. Practice, "I guess so." Another phrase is "I'm not convinced." This is stronger. It means you do not believe it yet. Practice, "I'm not convinced." Now soften. "I'm not convinced, but I'm open to it." Good. Now we go to very common phrases for apologizing and being polite in small moments. The phrase, "Sorry about that." Practice, "Sorry about that." Another phrase is "my bad." This is casual, used with friends. Practice, "My bad." Another phrase is "I didn't mean to." For example, if you interrupt or practice, "I didn't mean to." Example, "I didn't mean to interrupt." Great. Another phrase is, thanks for letting me know. This is polite when someone tells you information. Practice, thanks for letting me know. Another phrase is, I appreciate it. This means you are thankful. Practice, I appreciate it. Now add, I really appreciate it. Good. Now we learn phrases for asking for clarification. These help you avoid confusion. The phrase, what does that mean? Practice, what does that mean? Another phrase is, could you explain that? Practice, could you explain that? Another phrase is, can you give me an example? Practice, can you give me an example? Another phrase is, so, is it like? This helps you compare and check your understanding. Practice, so, is it like? Example, so, is it like a discount? Good. Another phrase is, let's go over it again. Practice, let's go over it again. Great. Now let's move to phrases for phone calls and messages, because daily life includes phone English. And phone English can feel stressful, but with the right phrases, you feel more confident. The phrase, hi, this is Julia. Practice, hi, this is Julia. Another phrase is, I'm calling about. Practice, I'm calling about. Example, I'm calling about my appointment. Good. Another phrase is now a good time. This is polite. Practice, is now a good time. Another phrase is, can I call you back? Practice, can I call you back? Now add a reason. Can I call you back? I'm in a meeting. Great. Another phrase is, I'll text you. Practice, I'll text you. Another phrase is, thanks for your call. Practice, thanks for your call. Good. Now we practice phrases for everyday shopping and ordering. These are extremely common. The phrase, I'm just looking. You use this when a shop worker asks if you need help. Practice, I'm just looking. Another phrase is, do you have this in a different size? Practice slowly. Do you have this in a different size? Another phrase is, do you have this in another color? Practice. Do you have this in another color? Another phrase is, can I try it on? Practice. Can I try it on? Another phrase is, I'll take it. This means you will buy it. Practice, I'll take it. Another phrase is, can I get a refund? Practice, can I get a refund? Good. Now we will learn phrases for restaurants and cafes. The phrase, can I see the menu? Practice, can I see the menu? Another phrase is, I'd like to order. Practice, I'd like to order. Another phrase is, can I get? Very common. Practice, can I get? Example, can I get a coffee, please? Great. Another phrase is, for here or to go. This is a question you may hear. It means, will you eat here or take it away? Practice answering. For here, please. And to go, please. Again. For here, please. To go, please. Good. Another phrase is, could we get the bill, please? Practice, could we get the bill, please? Another phrase is, keep the change. This is sometimes used. Practice, keep the change. Good. Now we practice phrases for work and daily responsibilities, even if you do not work in an office. These phrases are still useful. The phrase, I'm working on it. Practice, I'm working on it. Another phrase is, I'll get back to you, meaning you will reply later, practice, I'll get back to you. Another phrase is, let's touch base, meaning let's talk again soon, practice, let's touch base. Another phrase is, just to confirm, used before repeating details, practice, just to confirm, example. Just to confirm, we're meeting at 6. Good. Another phrase is, I'm tied up right now, meaning you are busy. Practice, I'm tied up right now. Another phrase is, can we reschedule? Practice, can we reschedule? Great. Now we do a slow speaking drill, repeat after me, and focus on smooth rhythm. What do you think? How do you feel about it? That sounds good. That makes sense. Tell me more. How come? I'm not sure. Let me check. It depends. Sorry about that. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate it. Could you explain that? Can you give me an example? Hi, this is Julia. I am calling about my appointment. Is now a good time? Can I call you back? I'm just looking. Do you have this in a different size? Can I try it on? Can I see the menu? I'd like to order. For here, please. To go, please. Could we get the bill, please? I'm working on it. I'll get back to you. Just to confirm. Great. Now let's do a practice scene. Imagine you are in a store. The worker says, Hi, can I help you? You answer, I'm just looking, thanks. Then you see a shirt. You ask, Do you have this in a different size? The worker says, Yes. What size? You answer, Medium, please. Then you ask, Do you have this in another color? The worker says, Yes, we have black and blue. You answer, That sounds good. I'll try the blue. Then you say, Can I try it on? Great. Now the worker says, Sure, the fitting room is over there. You reply, Thanks, I appreciate it. Excellent. Now another practice scene. A phone call. Julia says, Hi, this is Julia. Is now a good time? The other person says, Yes, what's up? Julia says, I'm calling about my appointment. Can we reschedule? The other person says, Sure. What day works for you? Julia says, It depends. Do you have anything on Friday? The other person says, Yes, 3 p.m. Julia says, That works for me, just to confirm. Friday at 3. The other person says, Correct. Julia says, Perfect. Thanks for letting me know. Great. Now, a final short mindset reminder. Many learners feel pressure to sound perfect, but daily life English is about being understood and being polite. If you can say simple phrases clearly, you will communicate well. So practice slowly, repeat, and use the phrases today. Even in a small way, say one phrase in your head or out loud, and you will build real fluency step by step. Take a small pause, breathe, and when you are ready, we will continue with even more powerful daily phrases, including phrases for feelings, problems, travel, directions, and friendly small talk. Let's continue. Now we will focus on phrases for small talk, feelings, daily problems, and simple solutions. because real life conversations are not only plans and shopping, they are also emotions, weather, health, daily stress, good news, and bad news. When you can talk about these things, you feel more connected, more confident, and more natural. Let's start with easy small talk phrases. The first one is, "How's your day going?" This is friendly and common. Practice, "How's your day going?" Now answer, "It's going pretty well." Again, "It's going pretty well." Good. Another answer is, "It's been a long day." Practice, "It's been a long day." Another phrase is, "How was your weekend?" Practice, "How was your weekend?" Now answer, "It was relaxing." Again, "It was relaxing." Great. Another phrase is, "Any plans for today?" Practice, "Any plans for today?" Answer, "Not really, just errands." Again, "Not really, just errands." Good. Another phrase is, "What's new?" This means, "What's happening in your life?" Practice, "What's new?" Answer, "Not much. Same old." Good. Now we practice weather phrases because weather is a safe topic and people talk about it all the time. The phrase, "It's really hot today." Practice, "It's really hot today." Another phrase is, "It's freezing," meaning very cold. Practice, "It's freezing." Another phrase is, "It looks like it's going to rain." Practice slowly. "It looks like it's going to rain." Another phrase is, "I forgot my umbrella." Practice, "I forgot my umbrella." Another phrase is, "The weather is nice today." Practice, "The weather is nice today." Now combine into a small talk mini conversation. Julia says, "The weather is nice today, isn't it?" You answer, "Yes, it feels good." Julia says, "It looks like it might rain later." You answer, "Really? I forgot my umbrella." Great. Now we go into feelings and mood phrases. These are very important for daily life. The phrase, "I'm so tired." Practice, "I'm so tired." Now soften it. "I'm a bit tired." Good. Another phrase is, "I'm stressed out," meaning you feel stress. Practice, "I'm stressed out." Another phrase is, "I'm in a good mood." Practice, "I'm in a good mood." Another phrase is, "I'm not feeling myself today." This means you feel a little off, not your normal self. Practice slowly, "I'm not feeling myself today." Another phrase is, "I'm feeling under the weather." This means you feel sick. Practice, "I'm feeling under the weather." Now, a simple reply is, "I hope you feel better." Practice, "I hope you feel better." Uh, Great. Now we practice phrases for good news and reactions. The phrase, "That's great news." Practice, "That's great news." Another phrase is, "I'm so happy for you." Practice, "I'm so happy for you." Another phrase is, "Congratulations." Practice, "Congratulations." Another phrase is, "You deserve it." This is a nice supportive phrase. Practice, "You deserve it." Now, imagine the conversation. Julia says, "I got a new job." You say, "Congratulations. I'm so happy for you." Julia says, "Thank you." You say, "You deserve it." Great. Now we practice phrases for bad news and support. This helps you sound kind and human. The phrase, "I'm sorry to hear that." Practice. I'm sorry to hear that. Another phrase is, that sounds tough. Practice. That sounds tough. Another phrase is, I'm here for you. Practice. I'm here for you. Another phrase is, take your time. Practice. Take your time. Now imagine, Julia says, I didn't pass the test. You say, I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds tough. Julia says, yeah, I feel bad. You say, I'm here for you. Take your time. Very good. Now we learn phrases for daily problems and simple solutions. The phrase, I have a headache. Practice. I have a headache. Another phrase is, my stomach hurts. Practice. My stomach hurts. Another phrase is, I need to rest. Practice. I need to rest. Another phrase is, I need to take a break. Practice. I need to take a break. Another phrase is, I'm running out of time. Practice. I'm running out of time. Another phrase is, I'm stuck in traffic. Practice. I'm stuck in traffic. Now combine. I'm stuck in traffic. I'm running out of time. Good. Now we practice phrases for making simple requests in daily life. The phrase, could you do me a favor? Practice slowly. Could you do me a favor? Another phrase is, would you mind helping me? Practice. Would you mind helping me? Another phrase is, can you hold on for a second? Used on the phone or in person. Practice. Can you hold on for a second? Another phrase is, give me a second. More direct but common. Practice. Give me a second. Another phrase is, can we talk later? Practice. Can we talk later? Good. Now let's learn phrases for opinions and preferences. Daily life includes choosing food, movies, clothes, and plans. The phrase, I'm not a fan of, means you do not like something. Practice. I'm not a fan of. Example, I'm not a fan of spicy food. Great. Another phrase is, I'm into, meaning you like something. Practice. I'm into. Example, I'm into podcasts and audiobooks. Another phrase is, I'd rather, meaning you prefer one option. Practice slowly. I'd rather. Example, I'd rather stay home tonight. Another phrase is, I'm okay with that. Practice. I'm okay with that. Another phrase is, that's not really my thing. Very natural. Practice. That's not really my thing. Good. Now, we do a longer practice exercise. I will give a situation. Then you speak slowly and confidently. Situation 1. You meet a friend. Julia says, hey, how's your day going? You answer, it's been a long day. I'm a bit tired. Julia says, same. I'm stressed out. You answer, that sounds tough. I'm here for you. Julia says, thanks. I just need a break. You answer, take your time. You'll be okay. Great. Situation 2. Small talk with a neighbor. Julia says, the weather is nice today. You answer, yes. It feels good. Julia says, it looks like it's going to rain later. You answer, really? I forgot my umbrella. Julia says, me too. Hopefully it won't rain. You answer, yeah, fingers crossed. Good. And that phrase, fingers crossed, is also common. It means you hope for a good result. Practice. Fingers crossed. Nice. Situation 3. A plan you do not like. Julia says, "Do you want to go to a loud party tonight?" You answer, "I'd rather stay home. I'm not really a fan of loud places." Julia says, "That's okay. We can watch a movie." You answer, "That sounds good. I'm okay with that." Great. Now a short set of phrases for everyday encouragement. Because English is also about tone, the phrase, "you've got this," means you can do it, practice, you've got this. Another phrase is, "don't worry about it," meaning it is okay, practice, don't worry about it. Another phrase is, "no problem at all," practice, no problem at all. Another phrase is, "take it easy," practice, take it easy. Another phrase is, "get some rest," practice, get some rest. Good. Now let's do a slow repeat after me chain. Keep your voice calm. How's your day going? It's been a long day. Any plans for today? Not really, just errands. It looks like it's going to rain. I forgot my umbrella. I'm stressed out. I need to take a break. I'm running out of time. I'm stuck in traffic. Could you do me a favor? Would you mind helping me? Can you hold on for a second? I'd rather stay home. I'm okay with that. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm so happy for you. You've got this. Great. Now, one more important reminder. Many phrases are small, but they create flow. When you use them, you sound more natural. Even if your grammar is not perfect, these phrases help you communicate. So choose 5 phrases from this section and use them today, maybe in a real conversation or maybe speaking to yourself. For example, you can look outside and say, "It looks like it's going to rain." You can feel tired and say, "I need to take a break." You can message a friend and say, "How's your day going?" Small practice. Every day creates big progress. Now take a breath, and we will continue. Next, we will learn phrases for directions, travel, appointments, and handling common daily situations with confidence. Let's continue. And now, we will focus on phrases for directions, travel, appointments, and common service situations. These are the moments when people often feel nervous because they need clear English fast. But if you learn a few simple phrases and practice them slowly, you can handle these situations with calm confidence. First, directions and asking where something is. The phrase, "excuse me, where is the nearest?" is very useful. Practice slowly. "Excuse me, where is the nearest?" Now choose a place. "Excuse me, where is the nearest bank?" Again, "Excuse me, where is the nearest bank?" Great. Another phrase is, "How do I get to?" Practice. How do I get to? Example. How do I get to the train station? Good. Another phrase is it far from here? Practice. Is it far from here? Another phrase is, can I walk there? Practice. Can I walk there? Another phrase is, which way is? Practice. Which way is the supermarket? Great. Now we practice directions people may give you. The phrase, go straight. Practice, go straight. Another phrase is, turn left. Practice, turn left. Another phrase is turn right. Practice, turn right. Another phrase is it's on your left. Practice, it's on your left. Another phrase is it's on your right. Practice, it's on your right. Another phrase is it's across from. Practice, it's across from. Example, it's across from the pharmacy. Another phrase is it's next to. Practice, it's next to. Example, it's next to the coffee shop. Great. Now we do a short practice scene. Julia is lost. She asks, "Excuse me, how do I get to the bus stop?" You answer as the helpful person. Go straight, then turn right. It's on your left. Great. Now switch. You are lost. Julia is the helpful person. You ask, "Excuse me, where is the nearest supermarket?" Julia answers, "It's next to the coffee shop, across from the pharmacy." Good. Now you reply, "Thank you." Julia says, "No problem." Perfect. Now we move to travel phrases, like at an airport, train station, or taxi. The phrase, "Where is the ticket counter?" Practice, "Where is the ticket counter?" Another phrase is, "I'd like a ticket to." Practice, "I'd like a ticket to." Example, "I'd like a ticket to Lahore." Another phrase is, "One way or round trip?" This is a common question. Let's practice answers. One way, please. And round trip, please. Again, one way, please. Round trip, please. Good. Another phrase is, "What time does it leave?" Practice, "What time does it leave?" Another phrase is, "What platform is it on?" Practice slowly. "What platform is it on?" Great. Now, taxi and ride phrases. The phrase, "Could you take me to?" Practice, "Could you take me to?" Example, "Could you take me to the hotel, please?" Another phrase is, "Please drop me off here." Practice, "Please drop me off here." Another phrase is, "How long will it take?" Practice, "How long will it take?" Another phrase is, "How much is the fare?" Practice, "How much is the fare?" Great. Another useful phrase is, "Could you turn on the air conditioning?" Or "Could you turn it off?" Practice, "Could you turn on the air conditioning?" "Could you turn it off, please?" Good. Now we move to appointment phrases like a doctor, dentist, salon, or any office. The phrase, "I'd like to make an appointment," is practice. "I'd like to make an appointment." Another phrase is, "Do you have any openings?" Meaning available times. Practice, "Do you have any openings?" Another phrase is, "What times are available?" Practice, "What times are available?" Another phrase is, "I need to reschedule." Practice, "I need to reschedule." Another phrase is, "I'm here for my appointment." Practice, "I'm here for my appointment." Another phrase is, "I'm running late." We already practiced it, but it's very important here. Practice again. "I'm running late." Now add, "I'm running late, but I'm on my way." Great. Now we practice a phone appointment mini conversation. Julia says, "Hi, this is Julia. I'd like to make an appointment." The office says, "Sure. What is it for?" Julia says, "A checkup, please." The office says, "What times are available for you?" Julia says, "Do you have any openings on Friday?" The office says, "Yes, 10 a.m." Julia says, "That works for me." The office says, "Great, see you Friday." Julia says, "Thank you." Excellent. Now, we learn phrases for problems and troubleshooting. Because travel and services include small problems. The phrase, "I think I'm lost," practice, "I think I'm lost." Another phrase is, "My phone is dead." Practice, "My phone is dead." Another phrase is, "I can't find my," practice, "I can't find my," example, "I can't find my ticket." Another phrase is, "I think I left it at home." Practice, "I think I left it at home." Another phrase is, "Can you help me?" Practice, "Can you help me?" Another phrase is, "What should I do?" Practice, "What should I do?" Great. Now we practice phrases for hotels or accommodation. The phrase, "I have a reservation." Practice, "I have a reservation." Another phrase is, "I'd like to check in." Practice, "I'd like to check in." Another phrase is, "I'd like to check out." Practice, "I'd like to check out." Another phrase is, "Could I get an extra key?" Practice, "Could I get an extra key?" Another phrase is breakfast included?" Practice, "Is breakfast included?" Another phrase is, "What's the Wi-Fi password?" Practice, "What's the Wi-Fi password?" Good. Now, we do a practice scene at a hotel desk. Julia says, "Hi, I have a reservation." The staff says, "What's your name?" Julia says, "Julia." The staff says, "Okay, you're all set. Would you like one key or two?" Julia says, "Could I get an extra key, please?" The staff says, "Sure." Julia says, "Thanks. Also, what's the Wi-Fi password?" The staff says, "It's on the renter's card." Julia says, "Great, thank you." This, nice. Now you repeat Julia's lines out loud, slowly. "Hi, I have a reservation." "Could I get an extra key, please?" "What's the Wi-Fi password?" Great. Now we add phrases for public transportation. The phrase, "Where is the bus stop?" Practice, "Where is the bus stop?" Another phrase is, "Does this bus go to?" Practice, "Does this bus go to?" Example, "Does this bus go to the city center?" Another phrase is, "How many stops?" Practice, "How many stops?" Another phrase is, "Please let me know when we get there." Practice slowly. "Please let me know when we get there." Great. Now we practice a real conversation on a bus. Julia says, "Excuse me, does this bus go to the city center?" The passenger says, "Yes." Julia says, "Great, how many stops?" The passenger says, "About 5." Julia says, "Okay, please let me know when we get there." The passenger says, "Sure." Julia says, "Thank you. I appreciate it." Perfect. Now we do a longer speaking practice drill. Repeat after me with calm rhythm. "Excuse me, where is the nearest bank? How do I get to the train station? Is it far from here? Go straight, turn left, turn right. It's across from the pharmacy. It's next to the coffee shop. I'd like a ticket to one way, please. Round trip, please. What time does it leave? What platform is it on? Could you take me to the hotel, please? Please drop me off here. How long will it take? I'd like to make an appointment. Do you have any openings? I'm here for my appointment. I need to reschedule. I think I'm lost. I can't find my ticket. I have a reservation. Is breakfast included? What's the Wi Fi password? Great. Now a final practice exercise. Imagine 3 quick situations. Situation 1. You are on the street. You need a bank. You say, "Excuse me, where is the nearest bank?" The person answers, "Go straight, then turn left. It's on your right." You reply, "Thank you." Situation 2. You need to change an appointment. You say, "Hi, this is Julia. I need to reschedule." They ask, "What day works for you?" You say, "Do you have any openings on Monday?" They say, "Yes, 2 p.m." You say, "That works for me. Thank you." Situation 3. You arrive at a hotel. You say, "Hi, I have a reservation. I'd like to check in." They ask, "Is this your first time here?" You say, "Yes. Could you tell me the Wi Fi password?" Great. You are doing well. Keep speaking, keep repeating, and keep using simple phrases. When you can handle directions, travel, and appointments, you feel independent in English, and that confidence spreads into every area of your life. Now take a slow breath, and we will continue. Next, we will learn phrases for daily routines, family life, chores, health, and communication at home. Let's continue. Now, we will focus on phrases for daily routines, home life, family conversations, chores, and simple communication inside the house. These phrases make your English feel real because you can use them every single day. Even when you are alone, you can practice while you cook, while you clean, while you get ready, and while you plan your day. Let's start with morning routine phrases. The first phrase is, "I just woke up." Practice. I just woke up. Another phrase is, "I'm still sleepy." Practice. I'm still sleepy. Another phrase is, "I need to get ready." Practice. I need to get ready. Another phrase is, "I'm in a hurry." Practice. I'm in a hurry. Another phrase is, "I'm running late." Practice. I'm running late. Another phrase is, "I need to grab a quick breakfast." Practice slowly. I need to grab a quick breakfast. Great. Now combine into a natural morning line. I just woke up. I'm still sleepy, but I need to get ready. Say it again, slowly. I just woke up. I'm still sleepy, but I need to get ready. Good. Now we learn phrases for breakfast and food at home. The phrase, "What should we eat?" Practice. What should we eat? Another phrase is, "I'm starving," meaning very hungry. Practice. I'm starving. Another phrase is, "I'm not that hungry." Practice. I'm not that hungry. Another phrase is, "I'll make something quick." Practice. I'll make something quick. Another phrase is, "Do you want some?" Practice. Do you want some? Another phrase is, "Help yourself." This means you can take it. Practice. Help yourself. Another phrase is, "I'll clean up." Practice. You'll clean up. Great. Now, phrases for chores and house tasks. The phrase, "I need to do the laundry." Practice, I need to do the laundry. Another phrase is, I need to wash the dishes. Practice, I need to wash the dishes. Another phrase is, I need to clean up. Practice, I need to clean up. Another phrase is, the house is a mess. Practice, the house is a mess. Another phrase is, let's tidy up. Practice, let's tidy up. Another phrase is, can you take out the trash? Practice slowly. Can you take out the trash? Another phrase is, can you sweep the floor? Practice. Can you sweep the floor? Great. Now we practice polite and natural family conversation phrases. The phrase, can you please, is very useful at home. Practice. Can you please? Example, can you please close the door? Another phrase is, don't forget to. Practice, don't forget to. Example, don't forget to turn off the lights. Another phrase is, be careful. Practice, be careful. Another phrase is, take your time. Practice, take your time. Another phrase is, are you okay? Practice, are you okay? Another phrase is, what's wrong? Practice, what's wrong? Great. Now, phrases for things you lose at home. This happens all the time. The phrase, where did I put my? Practice slowly. Where did I put my? Example, where did I put my keys? Another phrase is, I can't find my phone. Practice, I can't find my phone. Another phrase is, have you seen my? Practice, have you seen my? Example, have you seen my wallet? Another phrase is, it was right here. Practice, it was right here. Another phrase is, never mind, I found it. Practice, never mind, I found it. Great. Now we learn phrases for daily planning and tasks. The phrase, I have a lot to do today. Practice, I have a lot to do today. Another phrase is, I need to run some errands. Practice, I need to run some errands. Another phrase is, I need to pick up. Practice, I need to pick up. Example, I need to pick up groceries. Another phrase is, I'll do it later. Practice, I'll do it later. Another phrase is, I'll take care of it. Practice, I'll take care of it. Another phrase is, let's make a list. Practice, let's make a list. Great. Now phrases for daily health and self-care. The phrase, I need to drink more water. Practice, I need to drink more water. Another phrase is, I need to get some sleep. Practice, I need to get some sleep. Another phrase is, I need to eat healthier. Practice, I need to eat healthier. Another phrase is, I'm going for a walk. This is in practice. Atsen, I'm going for a walk. Another phrase is, I need some fresh air. Practice, phrase, I need some fresh air. Another phrase is, I'm not feeling well. Practice, I'm not feeling well. Great. Now we practice phrases for evenings and relaxing at home. The phrase, I'm going to relax. Practice, I'm going to relax. Another phrase is, I'm going to take a shower. Practice, I'm going to take a shower. Another phrase is, I'm going to bed. Practice, I'm going to bed. Another phrase is, I'm exhausted. Practice, I'm exhausted. Another phrase is, I'll see you in the morning. Practice, I'll see you in the morning. Great. Now we do a practical speaking exercise. Imagine you are talking about your day at home. Speak after me slowly. I just woke up and I'm still sleepy. I need to get ready. I'm in a hurry. I'll make something quick for breakfast. Do you want some? Help yourself. After breakfast, I'll clean up. I have a lot to do today. I need to run some errands. I need to pick up groceries. The house is a mess. Let's tidy up. I need to do the laundry and wash the dishes. Can you take out the trash, please? Don't forget to turn off the lights. Where did I put my keys? I can't find my phone. Never mind, I found it. I need some fresh air. I'm going for a walk. I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed. Great. Now let's do a longer practice conversation at home. Julia says, "Good morning. Are you okay?" You answer, "I'm okay. I'm just sleepy." Julia says, "Do you want breakfast?" You answer, "Yes, I'm starving, but let's make something quick." Julia says, "Sure, help yourself." You answer, "Thanks, I appreciate it." Julia says, "After you eat, can you take out the trash?" You answer, "Yes, I'll take care of it." Julia says, "Don't forget to turn off the lights." You answer, "Okay, I won't forget." Julia says, "By the way, have you seen my phone?" You answer, "No, sorry, I haven't seen it." Julia says, "Never mind, I found it." You answer, "Great." Julia says, "I have a lot to do today." You answer, "Same. I need to run some errands." Excellent. Now an extra practice describing a routine. This helps you speak longer and feel fluent. Repeat after me, but also change some words. Usually, I wake up early and I drink some water. Then I get ready and I grab a quick breakfast. After that, I check my messages and I plan my day. In the afternoon, I run errands and I do some chores. In the evening, I clean up and I try to relax. At night, I take a shower and I go to bed. Great. Now you try with your own routine. You can say, usually, and continue. Use simple verbs, wake up, eat, work, study, clean, rest, sleep. This is real daily life English, and it builds strong fluency. Now, one more set of useful home phrases. The phrase, "Could you lower your voice?" meaning speak quieter. Practice. Could you lower your voice? Another phrase is, "I'm trying to focus." Practice. I'm trying to focus. Another phrase is, "Let's talk about it." Practice. Let's talk about it. Another phrase is, "Let's figure it out." Practice. Let's figure it out. Another phrase is, "It's not a big deal." Practice. It's not a big deal. Another phrase is, "Everything is fine." Practice. Everything is fine. Great. You are making good progress. The more you connect phrases to your real life, the faster you remember them. So today, choose a simple moment at home and use English. Even for 2 minutes, say, "I need to clean up." I'll take care of it. I'm going to relax. This small practice will grow, and your English will grow with it. Now take a calm breath, and we will continue. Next, we will learn phrases for social life, meeting people, making friends, visiting someone, and speaking politely in different situations. Let's continue. Now we will focus on social life phrases, meeting people, making friends, visiting someone, and handling polite conversations in different situations. These phrases help you feel comfortable with people because you know what to say, how to respond, and how to keep the conversation friendly and smooth. Let's start with phrases for meeting someone new. The first phrase is, nice to meet you. Practice, nice to meet you. Now, a little more friendly. Nice to meet you. I'm Julia. Good. Another phrase is, how do you know? You use this when you meet someone through a friend. Practice. How do you know? Example, how do you know Sarah? Another phrase is, where are you from? Practice. Where are you from? Now a polite answer. I'm from Pakistan. Again, I'm from Pakistan. Another phrase is, what do you do? Meaning, what is your job or what do you study? Ulassis, practice, ders, what do you do? A simple answer has, I work in an office. Or I'm a student. Ders, practice, I'm a student. Great. Now we practice friendly follow-up phrases because good conversation needs follow-up. The phrase, oh, that's cool. Practice. Oh, that's cool. Another phrase is, that sounds interesting. Practice. That sounds interesting. Another phrase is, how did you get into that? Meaning, how did you start? Practice slowly. How did you get into that? Another phrase is, what do you like about it? Practice. What do you like about it? Great. Now phrases for making plans with friends in a relaxed way. The phrase, do you want to grab a coffee? Practice. Do you want to grab a coffee? Another phrase is, do you want to join us? Practice. Do you want to join us? Another phrase is, are you doing anything later? Practice. Are you doing anything later? Another phrase is, let's keep in touch. Practice. Let's keep in touch. Another phrase is, here's my number. Practice. Here's my number. Great. Now we practice polite ways to respond. Yes, maybe, or no. The phrase, sure, I'd love to. Practice, sure, I'd love to. Another phrase is, that sounds great. Practice, that sounds great. Another phrase is, maybe, I'll let you know. Practice, maybe, I'll let you know. Another phrase is, I'd love to, but I already have plans. Practice slowly. I'd love to, but I already have plans. Another phrase is, thanks for inviting me. Practice. Thanks for inviting me. Good. Now phrases for visiting someone's home. The phrase, thanks for having me. Practice. Thanks for having me. Another phrase is, this place is so nice. Practice. This place is so nice. Another phrase is, can I take my shoes off? Practice. Can I take my shoes off? Another phrase is, can I help with anything? Practice. Can I help with anything? Another phrase is, make yourself at home. This is what the host says. Practice. Make yourself at home. Now, if someone says that to you, you can reply, thank you. That's very kind. Practice. Thank you. That's very kind. Great. Now we learn phrases for offering food and drinks, because this happens often in social situations. The phrase, would you like something to drink? Practice slowly. Would you like something to drink? Another phrase is, would you like some tea? Practice. Would you like some tea? Another phrase is, help yourself. We learned it, but it's very useful here too. Practice. Help yourself. Another phrase is, are you hungry? Practice. Are you hungry? Another phrase is, do you want seconds? Meaning more food. Practice. Do you want seconds? Great. Now, phrases for small talk in social situations. The phrase, so, what do you do for fun? Practice slowly. What do you do for fun? Another phrase is, what kind of music do you like? Practice. What kind of music do you like? Another phrase is, have you seen any good movies lately? Practice. Have you seen any good movies lately? Another phrase is, what do you usually do on weekends? Practice. What do you usually do on weekends? Another phrase is, that's funny. Practice. That's funny. Another phrase is, I totally agree. Practice. I totally agree. Great. Now, phrases for keeping a conversation going. These are powerful because even if you feel shy, you can use these to continue. The phrase, how about you? Practice, how about you? Another phrase is, what about you? Practice, what about you? Another phrase is, really? How was that? Practice, really? How was that? Another phrase is, what happened? Practice, what happened? Another phrase is, that reminds me. We used it earlier. Practice, that reminds me. Great. Now, phrases for politely ending a conversation. Very useful. The phrase, it was nice talking to you. Practice. It was nice talking to you. Another phrase is, I should get going. Practice. I should get going. Another phrase is, I don't want to keep you. Meaning you don't want to take their time. Practice slowly. I don't want to keep you. Another phrase is, let's talk again soon. Practice. Let's talk again soon. Another phrase is, take care. Practice. Take care. Great. Now we do a full practice conversation. Meeting someone new. Julia says, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Julia. You answer, nice to meet you too. Julia says, where are you from? You answer, I'm from Pakistan. Julia says, oh, that's cool. What do you do? You answer, I'm a student. Julia says, that sounds interesting. What do you do for fun? You answer, I like music and I like movies. Julia says, nice. Have you seen any good movies lately? You answer, yes, I saw a good one last week. Julia says, really? How was that? You answer, it was great. I totally agree with the reviews. Julia says, we should grab a coffee sometime. You answer, sure, that sounds great. Julia says, here's my number. Let's keep in touch. You answer, thanks. It was nice talking to you. Julia says, you too. Take care. Great. Now we practice visiting someone. Julia is the guest. The host says, hi, Julia. Come in. Julia says, thanks for having me. The host says, Make yourself at home. Julia says, thank you, that's very kind. The host says, would you like something to drink? Julia says, yes, please. Some tea would be great. The host says, help yourself to snacks. Julia says, thanks. This place is so nice. The host says, can I get you anything else? Julia says, no, I'm good. Thank you. Great. Now you repeat Julia's lines. Thanks for having me. Thank you. That's very kind. Some tea would be great. This place is so nice. Excellent. Now, we add a few phrases for polite disagreement. Because in social life, you may have different opinions. The phrase, I see what you mean. Practice, I see what you mean. Another phrase is, that's a good point. Practice, that's a good point. Another phrase is, I'm not sure I agree. Practice slowly. I'm not sure I agree. Another phrase is, maybe, but I think. Practice, maybe, but I think. Example, maybe, but I think we should wait. Great. Another phrase is, let's agree to disagree. This is polite when you don't want to argue. Practice, let's agree to disagree. Good. Now a short speaking drill. Repeat after me. Nice to meet you. Where are you from? What do you do? That sounds interesting. How did you get into that? Do you want to grab a coffee? Do you want to join us? Sure, I'd love to. Maybe I'll let you know. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for having me. Make yourself at home. Would you like something to drink? Help yourself? How about you? I should get going. It was nice talking to you. Let's talk again soon. Take care. Arthur, great. Now, an important reminder. Social English is not about perfect words. It is about warmth, listening, and simple phrases. When you can greet, ask questions, respond kindly, and end conversations politely, you feel confident in almost any social situation. So choose a few phrases from this section and practice them today, even alone. Imagine a conversation and speak it out loud. You will feel your English becoming more natural, one day at a time. Take a slow breath, and we will continue. Next, we will learn phrases for work and study communication, polite requests, deadlines, feedback, and handling common professional conversations. Let's start with phrases for starting a work or study conversation. The first phrase is, do you have a minute? Practice, do you have a minute? Now make it a little more polite. Do you have a minute to talk? Good. Another phrase is, can I ask you something? Practice, can I ask you something? Another phrase is, I have a quick question. Practice, I have a quick question. Another phrase is, when you have a moment. This is very useful because it sounds respectful. Practice slowly. When you have a moment. Example, when you have a moment, could you review this? Great. Now, phrases for making requests politely. The phrase, could you please, is very common. Practice, could you please? Example, could you please send me the file? Another phrase is, would you mind? Practice, would you mind? Example, would you mind explaining that again? Another phrase is, Could you do me a favor? Practice. Could you do me a favor? Another phrase is, if possible. This makes your request softer. Practice, if possible. Example, if possible, could we meet tomorrow? Great. Now phrases for offering help. Because offering help makes you sound professional and kind. The phrase, how can I help? Practice, how can I help? Another phrase is there anything I can do? Practice, is there anything I can do? Another phrase is, I can take care of that. Practice, I can take care of that. Another phrase is, leave it with me, meaning you will handle it. Practice, leave it with me. Great. Now, phrases for deadlines and timing. The phrase, what's the deadline? Practice, what's the deadline? Another phrase is, when is it due? Practice, when is it due? Another phrase is, I need more time. Practice, I need more time. Another phrase is, I'm working on it. We used it earlier, but it's perfect here. Practice, I'm working on it. Another phrase is, I'm almost done. Practice, I'm almost done. Another phrase is, I'll finish it by today. Practice slowly. I'll finish it by today. Now another option, I'll finish it by tomorrow. Great. Now phrases for updates and progress. The phrase, just an update, is common. Practice, just an update. Example, just an update. I sent the email. Another phrase is, here's where we are. Practice, here's where we are. Another phrase is, we're on track, meaning everything is going as planned. Practice, we're on track. Another phrase is, we're behind schedule, meaning late. Practice, we're behind schedule. Another phrase is, we need to speed up. Practice, we need to speed up. Great. Now phrases for meetings and discussion. The phrase, let's get started. Practice, let's get started. Another phrase is, what's on the agenda? Meaning what topics will we discuss? Practice, what's on the agenda? Another phrase is, let's talk about. Practice, let's talk about. Example, let's talk about the project timeline. Another phrase is, any questions? Practice, any questions? Another phrase is, let's summarize. Practice, let's summarize. Another phrase is, so the main point is. Practice, so the main point is. Great. Now phrases for opinions in a professional tone. The phrase, in my opinion. Practice, in my opinion. Another phrase is, from my perspective. Practice, from my perspective. Another phrase is, I suggest we. Practice, I suggest we. Example, I suggest we start early. Another phrase is, I agree with you. Practice, I agree with you. Another phrase is, I see your point. Practice, I see your point. Another phrase is, I have a different idea. Practice, I have a different idea. Great. Now phrases for clarifying at work or school. The phrase, could you clarify that? Practice, could you clarify that? Another phrase is, just to be clear. Practice, just to be clear. Example, just to be clear, you want it by Friday, right? Another phrase is, did you mean? Practice, did you mean? Another phrase is, can you walk me through it? Meaning explain step by step, practice slowly. Can you walk me through it? Or great. Now, phrases for feedback and corrections. These are very important. The phrase, could you give me feedback? Practice, could you give me feedback? Another phrase is, what do you think of this? Practice, what do you think of this? Another phrase is, I'm open to feedback. Practice, I'm open to feedback. Another phrase is, thanks for the feedback. Practice, thanks for the feedback. Another phrase is, I'll make changes. Practice, I'll make changes. Another phrase is, I'll fix it. Practice, I'll fix it. Great. Now, phrases for mistakes and accountability, because everyone makes mistakes. And the way you speak about it matters. The phrase, that was my mistake. Practice, that was my mistake. Another phrase is, I take responsibility. Practice, I take responsibility. Another phrase is, it won't happen again. Practice, it won't happen again. Another phrase is, thanks for your patience. Practice, thanks for your patience. Another phrase is, I appreciate your understanding. Practice slowly. I appreciate your understanding. Great. Now, phrases for email and message style communication. Even if you do not write emails often, these phrases help you speak professionally too. The phrase, just checking in. Practice, just checking in. Another phrase is, following up on. Practice, following up on. Another phrase is, as we discussed. Practice, as we discussed. Another phrase is, for your information. Practice, for your information. Another phrase is, please find attached. Common in emails. Practice, please find attached. Another phrase is, let me know if you need anything. Practice, let me know if you need anything. Great. Now, we practice polite ways to say you cannot do something without sounding rude. The phrase, I'm not able to. Practice, I'm not able to. Example, I'm not able to join today. Another phrase is, I won't be able to. Practice, I won't be able to. Another phrase is, I have a conflict, meaning you have another plan at the same time. Practice, I have a conflict. Another phrase is, can we move it to? Practice, can we move it to? Example, can we move it to next week? Great. Now we do a full practice meeting conversation. Julia speaks and you answer out loud. Julia says, do you have a minute? You answer, sure, what's up? Julia says, I have a quick question. What's the deadline? You answer, it's due Friday. Julia says, just to be clear, you want it by Friday afternoon, right? You answer, yes, Friday afternoon. Julia says, okay, I'm working on it. I'm almost done. You answer, great, keep me posted. Julia says, just an update. I sent the first draft. You answer, thanks, I'll review it. Julia says, could you give me feedback? You answer, yes, I'll send feedback today. Julia says, thanks for your patience. I appreciate your understanding. You answer, no problem. We're on track. Excellent. Now we do a group project practice. Julia says, let's get started. What's on the agenda? You answer, we need to talk about tasks and timing. Julia says, from my perspective, we're behind schedule. You answer, I see your point. We need to speed up. Julia says, I suggest we meet twice this week. You answer, that sounds good. What time works for you? Julia says, can you take care of the slides? You answer, yes, leave it with me. Julia says, great, let's summarize. The main point is, we will finish by Friday. You answer, agreed. Perfect. Now a slow repeat after me drill. Focus on calm rhythm. Do you have a minute? I have a quick question. Could you please send me the file? If possible. Could we meet tomorrow? How can I help? I can take care of that. What's the deadline? When is it due? I'm working on it. I'm almost done. Just an update. We're on track. We're behind schedule. Let's get started. What's on the agenda? In my opinion, from my perspective, I suggest just to be clear, could you clarify that? Could you give me feedback? Thanks for the feedback. That was my mistake. Thanks for your patience. Let me know if you need anything. Great. Now, a short mindset reminder. Professional English is not about complicated words. It is about clarity, politeness, and calm confidence. When you can request, clarify, update, and respond politely, you will sound strong, even with simple English. So practice these phrases again and again and use them in real life, even in small messages, even in short conversations. This is how you build real fluency. Take a slow breath, and when you are ready, we will continue. Next, we will learn phrases for handling disagreements, complaints, customer service, and solving problems calmly. Let's continue. And now, we will focus on phrases for handling problems, complaints, customer service, and calm problem solving. These situations can feel stressful, but if you have the right phrases, you can stay polite, clear, and confident. We will also practice phrases for disagreements and boundaries, because daily life sometimes requires you to say what you need in a respectful way. Let's start with simple problem phrases. The first phrase is, something's not working. Practice. Something's not working. Another phrase is, it's not working properly. Practice, it's not working properly. Another phrase is, there's a problem with. Practice, there's a problem with. Example, there's a problem with my order. Another phrase is, I think there's been a mistake. Practice slowly. I think there's been a mistake. Another phrase is, can you help me with this? Practice. Can you help me with this? Great. Now, phrases for explaining the issue clearly. The phrase I ordered but I received is very useful. Practice slowly. I ordered but I received. Example, I ordered a medium but I received a small. Another phrase is, I was charged twice. Practice, I was charged twice. Another phrase is, this is damaged. Practice, this is damaged. Another phrase is, This is missing. Practice, this is missing. Another phrase is, it doesn't match the description. Practice, it doesn't match the description. Great. Now, phrases for asking for a solution. The phrase, could you fix it? Practice, could you fix it? Another phrase is, could you replace it? Practice, could you replace it? Another phrase is, could I get a refund? Practice, could I get a refund? Another phrase is, what are my options? Practice, what are my options? Another phrase is, what can we do about it? Practice, what can we do about it? Great. Now, phrases for staying polite but firm. This is important because you can be kind and still be clear. The phrase I understand but is very useful. Practice slowly. I understand but example. I understand but I really need a solution. Another phrase is I'm afraid that's not acceptable. Practice. I'm afraid that's not acceptable. Another phrase is I'd like to speak to a manager. Practice. I'd like to speak to a manager. Another phrase is, I appreciate your help. Practice, I appreciate your help. Another phrase is, thank you for your time. Practice, thank you for your time. Great. Now, phrases for calls and customer support. The phrase I'm calling about, we used it earlier. Practice again. I'm calling about. Another phrase is, my account number is. Practice, my account number is. Another phrase is, could you look into it? Meaning, please check it. Practice, could you look into it? Another phrase is, can you confirm that? Practice, can you confirm that? Another phrase is, when will it be resolved? Practice slowly. When will it be resolved? Another phrase is, could you email me the details? Practice. Could you email me the details? Great. Now we practice a customer service conversation. Julia says, hi, I need help. There's a problem with my order. The staff says, what's wrong? Julia says, I ordered a medium, but I received a small. The staff says, I'm sorry about that. Julia says, I understand, but I need a replacement. The staff says, we can replace it. Julia says, thank you, I appreciate your help. The staff says, no problem. Julia says, can you confirm the delivery date? The staff says, yes, it will arrive on Friday. Julia says, great, thank you for your time. Perfect. Now you repeat Julia's lines slowly. There's a problem with my order. I ordered a medium, but I received a small. I understand, but I need a replacement. Can you confirm the delivery date? Thank you for your time. Great. Now we move to phrases for disagreement and boundaries. Daily life includes times when you say no or you explain your needs. The phrase, I'm not comfortable with that. Practice, I'm not comfortable with that. Another phrase is, I'd prefer not to. Practice, I'd prefer not to. Another phrase is, that doesn't work for me. Practice, that doesn't work for me. Another phrase is, I need some space. Practice, I need some space. Another phrase is, let's find another solution. Practice, let's find another solution. Another phrase is, let's talk calmly. Practice, let's talk calmly. Great. Now, phrases for resolving conflict politely. The phrase, I see your point. Practice, I see your point. Another phrase is, I understand how you feel. Practice slowly. I understand how you feel. Another phrase is, let's meet halfway, meaning compromise. Practice, let's meet halfway. Another phrase is, can we find a compromise? Practice, can we find a compromise? Another phrase is, let's focus on the solution. Practice, let's focus on the solution. Great. Now we practice a disagreement conversation. Julia says, I know you want to go out tonight, but I'm exhausted. You reply, I understand how you feel. What do you want to do? Julia says, I'd prefer not to go out. That doesn't work for me today. You reply, I see your point. Let's meet halfway. Julia says, okay, maybe we can go out tomorrow and stay home today. You reply, that sounds fair. Let's focus on the solution. Great. Now, phrases for returning items and dealing with shops. The phrase, I'd like to return this. Practice, I'd like to return this. Another phrase is, I'd like to exchange this. Practice, I'd like to exchange this. Another phrase is, I have the receipt. Practice, I have the receipt. Another phrase is, I bought it yesterday. Practice, I bought it yesterday. Another phrase is, it doesn't fit. Practice, it doesn't fit. Another phrase is it possible to get a refund? Practice slowly. Is it possible to get a refund? Great. Now, a quick return conversation practice. Julia says, Hi, I'd like to return this. The staff says, What's the issue? Julia says, It doesn't fit and it doesn't match the description. The staff says, Do you have the receipt? Julia says, Yes, I have the receipt. The staff says, We can refund you. Julia says, Thank you. I appreciate your help. Great. Now we do a final big speaking drill. Repeat after me, calmly, clearly. Something's not working. There's a problem with my order. I think there's been a mistake. I ordered a medium, but I received a small. I was charged twice. This is damaged. This is missing. Could you replace it? Could I get a refund? What are my options? I understand, but I need a solution. I'm afraid that's not acceptable. I'd like to speak to a manager. Could you look into it? Can you confirm that? When will it be resolved? I'm not comfortable with that. Then, doesn't work for me. Let's find another solution. I understand how you feel. Let's meet halfway. Let's focus on the solution. Great. Now a final practice story, and you speak with me. Imagine you are at a cafe. You order a tea, but you receive coffee. Julia says, Excuse me. I think there's been a mistake. You repeat, I think there's been a mistake. Julia says, I ordered tea, but I received coffee. You repeat, I ordered tea, but I received coffee. Julia says, Could you replace it, please? You repeat, Could you replace it, please? The staff says, I'm sorry, we'll fix it. Julia says, Thank you, I appreciate your help. You repeat, Thank you. I appreciate your help. Perfect. You have now practiced many powerful daily life phrases, and more importantly, you practiced how to use them in real situations. That is the key, not just knowing the phrase, but using it in a sentence with a calm voice again and again until it feels natural. Before we finish, I want you to choose 10 phrases from today, any 10, and practice them every day for 1 week. Speak them out loud, slowly, with clear pronunciation. Then, in the second week, choose 10 new phrases. This simple system will build strong English without stress, without pressure, just steady progress. Thank you for practicing with me today. If you enjoyed this lesson, keep coming back and practice again. The more you repeat, the more fluent you become. Take care, keep going, and I'll see you in the next English practice session.